Salutations, everybody! It is Matty here today with our most important tier list video yet. We spent all of our tier list energy back in April ranking 200 plus Game Pass games. And yeah, before that, we ranked a ton of RPGs in the last decade. We ranked all of the Bethesda published games. We've done a lot of tier lists here. We took a little bit of a break there, focusing on more reviews, previews, and news. But we're back today with our most important tier list yet. That's right, we're ranking every version of Skyrim. This has been 10 years in the making, 10 different versions to go through. I'm dead ass with this, so get ready. We're breaking each and every single one of them down. I'll have the tier list link in the description down below if you want to rank Skyrim's versions yourself. No, of course, this is in good fun. We're going to have a blast here. But if you're looking for more dumb shit, consider subscribing because we're doing dumb shit here on the channel. Anyway, this tier list is going to be ranked based off of not only the legacy there, but it's also going to be, if it's 2021, which version am I really handing you? And the reason I disclose all of that is, yeah, we're going to go into the original versions of Skyrim versus something like Anniversary Edition. You get where I'm going with this? So keep this all in mind as we have a very good time with this. And now, let's get it started with the OG version of Skyrim. Okay. So this is the Xbox 360 version of Skyrim. This is where it all started for many of us, right? This was the best running vanilla version of Skyrim. Again, though, it's 2021. We have to keep this type of stuff in mind. Are you truly going to play Skyrim on a 360 in 2021 when there are so many other options out there that look better, run better, all that stuff? My answer would be no, but you must respect the legacy that Skyrim has established. You must respect that Skyrim is a game that has an influence so strong that people are still trying to imitate it 10 years later. So Skyrim Vanilla for Xbox 360 goes into the B tier. What? B tier? Legacy, Matt. It's 2021. Please consider that. Because then we move into Skyrim on PS3. The worst version imaginable. This game, I don't know if y'all were around then, if you were paying attention, but this game was so broken on PS3. It's actually insane. And it's hilarious as we go down this list. The PlayStation legacy for Skyrim up until probably PS5 was horrible. So it's amazing to me that with each version that they've released on PlayStation, that Bethesda just found a new way to mess it up. But with Skyrim on PS3, there were so many bugs. It was borderline. At times, it actually purely was completely unplayable. People could not access the game. And a lot of people forget that. And that's how popular Skyrim was, because so many people were playing it, enjoying it. And despite how loud the internet was, it did not matter to a lot of people. So I'm putting Skyrim on PS3 in the D tier. You got to respect it's Skyrim, and when it ran. But this game was broken. It was absolutely broken for a long period of time. Now we start getting into the deeper cuts here, right? We still have Skyrim PC to get into, fret not. But we have to talk about Skyrim Legendary Edition first. This is where we started to see Bethesda realize, oh, we got a real cash cow here. We're going to wring them dry now. Skyrim Legendary Edition, this is particularly for the Xbox 360. The reason I picked this one is because it's got Kinect support there. It also includes all of the DLC. Now, again, we have to take into consideration that there was the ability to yell at your console with 200 different voice commands in Skyrim Legendary Edition to bring yourself a little bit into the world. You could scream Fusro Die at your TV and it would happen, albeit a couple of seconds delayed, but I actually thought it was pretty cool. This also comes with, again, all the DLC, but effectively it was a 360 PS3 compilation. So the real defining factor here and why I picked 360 is, does Kinect support matter or not? To me, this is in the same league as vanilla Skyrim nowadays. Probably the one that you want to get is here, Legendary Edition, if you're going to get the old versions of Skyrim. If you're like me and you've collected literally every single version, you're going to want the 360 one. This is probably the better place to go. But these two are sitting in the same league, in my opinion, because it would be A tier in my eyes. Like, this could be A tier because you have the original and you have the compilation with everything for better value. But the reason it's B tier is this is when Bethesda realized that they were going to start scamming me for about a decade, and I simply cannot respect that, okay? Now we get into something I think we can all agree on. Skyrim on PC. We don't even really need to have a conversation here. This is S tier. Skyrim on PC, or really any Bethesda Game Studios game, it's best played on PC. Why is that? Modding. Modding community is so unbelievably strong when it comes to Skyrim especially. It adds tons of legs to the game, where the main reason I think Skyrim is popular is less even because of the base game, which was of course great, but because of the incredible modding tools that Bethesda provides for free that people have used to make their own adventures, companions, weapons and armor, and essential mods that even make the game, for a lot of people, unplayable in its vanilla form. Sky UI, for example, is one that people can't even imagine not having. There's so much stuff that the community just improves, and the main way you can access that, there are other ways we'll talk about, but the main way you can access that is through the PC. So it's undoubtedly going to give you thousands, that's no exaggeration, thousands of hours if you play Skyrim on PC. I remember doing a modding series of my own here on Skyrim on the channel, and it didn't do that well. But I mean, that was in its primitive state where I was running around with like Iron Man armor, doing survival mode, playing new dungeons. It was cool to see it in its most primitive state, if you will, and how it's developed since then, where we're getting stuff like Sky Oblivion. But there's just no amount of words you can use to describe how exactly modding has made Skyrim such a behemoth nowadays, and why Elder Scrolls 6 will be a smash hit. So I wanted to give you guys an easy one, right? I think we can all agree Skyrim on PC, not too bad. Now we move into Skyrim on Alexa. So this is, for those who don't know, a voice-based adventure. We have played this one on the channel as well. I've played every version of Skyrim on the channel. It's just a running joke at this point in time. Skyrim on Alexa is wild. You get asked what you should do during certain quests, what choices you're going to make, what you're going to loot on the ground, and it's a different way to experience it. Is it the full game? No, it's not, but it works, and Bethesda's playing into the meme. The factor here is, right, we bumped down Skyrim Legendary Edition because this is when Bethesda realized, oh, we could have been A tier, but we're going to take your money a lot, and this is the beginning of the end for a lot of us. And then here is a true representation of Bethesda laughing in our face, and I happily ate it up. Now, also, this is not the best version of Skyrim, so I'm going to put it in the league of F tier. Because, again, they're laughing at us now. To them, we are a joke. Because we're buying all these versions, we're playing all these versions that they spent time, money, and resources to put this for free on Alexa. Absolutely incredible that it exists, but this is just downright disrespectful at this point in time. Okay, we move on down to Skyrim Special Edition. We got both versions here, Xbox and PS4. The main difference makers here, beyond visual improvements that came for the consoles, was really the modding support, and also the introduction of Creation Club. Remember that? The main split here, though, of course, is console modding. PlayStation console modding is horrible. It's horrible. But on the other end of the spectrum, you now have a mostly functioning version of Skyrim on a PlayStation console at this point in time, with all of its DLC and improved visuals. However, the other problem here with Skyrim Special Edition is it doesn't run at 60 FPS. It's at a nice, crisp 30 FPS. That's the same thing for the Xbox One. Don't get it twisted here. But those console mods are not nice at all. So I gotta say, Skyrim Special Edition on PS4 C tier to me. It's not bad. You can pick it up. You can play it. You could upgrade this to Anniversary Edition if you want. And we'll talk about where Anniversary Edition would be placed in my eyes. But otherwise, you're getting a horrible console modding experience, and people who buy it on PlayStation who don't know much about modding are going to see it and go, what's the big deal with modding? I got the same home with the same type of tile sets and cells that I see in the base game. There's no diversity here, and it's really difficult for modders to do anything about it. And it's because of how PlayStation has limited that system. So it's really unfortunate. Whereas the Xbox version has pretty good modding support here. So Skyrim on Xbox Special Edition, it's got those same bells and whistles, but that modding support is a difference maker there, right? It's huge. I cannot emphasize it enough. It gets our first A tier. Very important. Very, very important release for Skyrim. Then it gets laughable. So I remember when the Nintendo Switch was revealed and they showed Skyrim running on it, and then there was this long conversation between Bethesda and Nintendo that we were seeing play out during headlines of, we're not actually sure if Skyrim will be on Switch. And I never understood why this was a story that was breezed by, other than the fact that the game actually released. But there was a period of time I definitely recall where there were news headlines saying like they don't know if Skyrim on Switch will actually happen, even though it was a part of the console reveal. But anyway, seeing it was exciting because it was our first time to be able to take Skyrim on the go. And as you can see in the little image we got here, this is where you could get the Hyrule outfit, the Hyrule shield, the Master Sword, all that good stuff. But the amiibo support beyond that was disappointing because it would just spawn random chests and let you accelerate through the game. There wasn't any new content. It was just a new version on a new system with a new outfit. No new content, but that portability factor is strong and made it one of the best ways to play Skyrim. Mind you, this was in 2017, I believe. So this was towards the infancy of xCloud, where now you can take out your phone, you can stream Skyrim to your phone, to your tablet. There's a lot of ways to play Skyrim now. But this was during a time where I think this portability mattered even more. Nowadays, I still think it matters, but maybe a little bit less. But to me, Skyrim on Switch, get ready for this one. It's one of the best ways to play. I'm going to say it right now, okay? I own my opinions. They may be hot takes, but you cannot deny the absolute satisfaction of sitting down on the toilet with Skyrim in your hands. Full game, no lag, all that good stuff there. Every piece of DLC. It's addicting because then Skyrim becomes a quick pick up and play game. I'll do some of those Radiant quests for the Thieves Guild while I'm on the pooper. And then I'm going to move on and continue my day. And then it's bedtime. I got an hour. Play a little bit of Skyrim. It's amazing because it shows the flexibility of the game. And while I know some people have some issues with it, I think it's really, really good. So it's up there to me with something unique that's being offered, kind of like the PC version. All right, we're nearing the tail end here. We've got Skyrim on VR. Now, Skyrim on VR, I played here on the channel as well, and it's solid. It allows you to, for example, do archery in a more immersive way, taking a knee and shooting at a bandit camp with a bow and arrow. I love that. That was a really cool feeling. But the collision detection in this game sucks. And it's not until you really mod it that I feel like this is a much better version. In its base form, however, I found it disappointing. But there's no denying that Skyrim in VR is pretty immersive. I really dug it. And again, it was the only time in all of these versions of Skyrim that I was really getting into the gameplay. When it comes to the sword and shield, though, it breaks that immersion. But when it comes to the bow and arrow, as I was saying, just that taking a knee, stealthing up on a camp, pop, got him. Really good feeling. My aim was horrible, but it was so fun to play in that way. But that was just the best way to play. Stuff like, using magic wasn't that great. So to me, Skyrim VR, and this is PC VR, by the way, we're going to combine that with PSVR, is pretty hit or miss, but it offers a unique experience. Unmodded, it gets an A tier to me. I really like Skyrim VR. It works a lot better than Fallout 4 VR, that's for damn sure. But unfortunately, this could not crack the S tier for me because it needs mods to be at its best. It really does need mods to fix a lot of the issues that are there. And when it has those mods, then you can talk S tier. But it's not like Skyrim on PC where that modding capability is what defines it. VR support should define this version, and it should have included a lot of things that mods now have. And I know some people can say that about base Skyrim, but the way I look at it with any Bethesda Game Studios game is when you have a limitless community of millions of players, they're always going to outperform in some way, shape, or form the development team, just given the amount of manpower that is there. But I'm not trying to make excuses for Bethesda Game Studios. Let's get into the last version here, Skyrim Anniversary Edition. So this is the newest one. This is the next-gen update, which you can get for free on Special Edition, but this is the next-gen update. This is all of the Creation Club content, every piece of DLC, running at 60 FPS, 4K on PS5 and Xbox Series X. All right, this is the best way to play Skyrim if you are a console owner. In my opinion, it gets the S tier. It is at a $20 upgrade, so if you're an owner of Special Edition or you have it through Game Pass, it's actually just getting it for $20, which I think is a fair price for it, quite honestly. Will it really blow people's socks off who are not in love with Skyrim like me? Probably not, but I think with all of the new bells and whistles there, and on top of everything that's already there, if I were to say, hey, you got to play Skyrim, they go, okay, which version? Everything in the S tier would be my suggestion to them. I would hand them a copy of Anniversary Edition. I would hand them a Switch copy, or I would tell them if they're familiar with modding, which has become more simplistic over time, try that out. Because these are the top ways to play, in my opinion. There are other good ways to play it, like Special Edition, like VR, but I think these on the top three here are the definitive ways to play it. And then you've just got Echo down here, which you want to avoid, and Skyrim on PS3, which you'll never want to touch, ever, 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 ever. But this is my official Skyrim tier list, ladies and gentlemen. I've worked very hard on this one, playing every single version of this game that has ever been available throughout the last decade. And so I wanted to make this video here today. And of course, I'm very much looking forward to the thoughts of all of you out there in the comments down below, seeing what you think of some Skyrim hot takes. And of course, what is your tier list? We got 10 versions to rank here, so please do fire away. And if you have any other ideas for tier lists, we're getting back into that groove a little bit here, let me know. Looking forward to doing more. But until next time, take good care of yourselves, and I'll talk with you very soon. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below. And a big thank you to all the patrons, all the members who continue to support the hell out of the content here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.